What up, beautiful people? It's your boy Nate Jackson. It's another episode of Opinionated. Listen, I read the comments. There's people saying like, damn, this dude is spending hella time talking about his dates. There's somebody saying, man, at one point this was a cool podcast. Now all you're doing is talking about how funny you are. I've seen you 2 times. I get it, bro. You're funny. But come on, man. Like, let's make these episodes, fun to listen to on their own. And then there's people in the comments like, actually, he spent 8 minutes and 50 seconds on his dates and addressing all the questions that he got about his tour dates. That only represented a slither of what this full episode was. And that was the one about my dad, right? So I think that is by far one of the most poignant pieces of audio I have put out where I, showed some emotion and shared personal stuff with you guys. So I need to know that you guys will bear with me. I need adult listeners. Let's just say that. I'm on a national tour. Of course I'm going to tell you about my dates. People have questions about dates. I'm going to answer those questions here. Does it need to be 8 minutes long? No. So I will meet you in the middle. I will compromise. I will share some of my dates, and then I will say where you can find the dates at. Now, Trent thought somebody stole his car. He comes outside, and he thinks his car is stolen. Hold on. There's that. Also, Amber Rose is on a podcast saying, if men can be loyal to their barbers, why do they cheat on me? We're going to talk about Trent's car. We're going to talk about love, loyalty, and cheating. We're going to talk about relationships a little bit today. We're going to get into it. Now, here are my dates. My dates are, and I'm not going to read them all because you guys apparently don't have the attention span to hear all the places that I'm going to sacrifice my life to be to entertain you. It's very selfish to just be like, I only care about the dates that are like that I can come to. If I live in Ohio, I don't want to hear 4 minutes about Miami, but Miami wants to hear about Miami. Also, if you can, get you a flight and bring your ass to Miami. Don't you want to get out of Ohio every now and then? Check it out. March 20th through March 22nd, Plano, Texas. We've added shows, okay? We're coming to Dallas. It's 5 minutes from Dallas. Syracuse, New York, March 27th. Buffalo, New York, March 28th. Washington, D.C., March 30th. There's 2 shows that night. The late show that night is going to be a crowd work joint. This will be my first time doing a crowd work joint outside of the Super Funny Comedy Club. There's only 5 cities that I'm doing that in, okay? D.C., Atlanta, Lexington, L.A., and what's the other one?
Did you say St. Louis?
And St. Louis. Those cities, the late shows, the added shows will be crowd work joints. They will be on YouTube in full, okay? That means I'm not going to be doing any material. If you want to see some material, get your ass in that first show. If you like the crowd work stuff, 100% crowd work is all you want, that'll be the second show. Who do you know on earth entertaining that is offering 2 versions of a headliner show in one night? We are now in rarefied air. I expect you to get your tickets ASAP. NateJacksonComedy.com. There are way more dates than that, but apparently I can't say them. What the fuck? And don't edit out fuck, because what the fuck? Today's episode, sponsored by The Roses. This is a clothing line, a collection that is put together by your boy Nate Jackson himself. I'm talking about from my hat to my ankles, everything I have on is The Roses. If you've been watching, I have pieces. You've seen a black and red jacquard. You've seen a brown and pink jacquard. Now you're looking at the all-over puff print, giant red. I just call this ooh-wee. That's what this hoodie is. Now, the part that doesn't have the roses with this actual cloth is so soft, it feels like baby legs. Okay, so just know you're going to be hugged by luxury when you wear this. This was made, cut, and sew in Pakistan, and that's happening. This is already happening. You want to get this. This will be available soon. The website will be available soon. We have now parked it, landed it. We own it, and it is going to be designed starting as early as this evening. A photo shoot is coming up this week where all the clothes will be had pictures of, from the black jeans, the blue jeans, the all-over print hoodie that you haven't seen, then this hoodie, then the sparkly hoodie, the sparkly T-shirt. It's going down. Okay? Now, I'm not going to talk about myself no more. That's that. Just look forward to The Roses. And that's my ad for it, as if I was doing a drop for Pepsi. Okay? Trent, what happened?
Before I get into that, though, about your crowd work joints in these 5 cities, if you're a videographer, we're looking for you. If you live in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, St. Louis, Lexington, or Los Angeles, we need a videographer to
You don't need
help
nobody in
us.
St. Louis?
I thought I said that. St. Louis. Yeah, we need you in St. Louis, Atlanta, DC,
All 5 cities.
Lexington, Atlanta. Each and one of those cities. If you live in one of those cities,
Yeah.
we looking for you just to help man us a camera. We have all the cameras. We just need a body. I'll be making a post about this, but if you're watching this, comment on there. We'll see it, and I will contact you. It will be a paid gig, but we just need you to man a camera. If you want to be a part of Nate Jackson's crowd work joints in these cities, and you live in these cities, leave a comment on this episode. And we
Or
will find
near, and you have transportation to get there and reliable transportation, and we can expect you to be there. Come help Trenton and Cannon do crowd work joints live.
Yes.
And the European crowd work joint is almost ready.
Yep.
And it's a slapper.
It's funny.
It's
funny.
It's a slapper. So get ready for that. It's basically me saying, hey, here's what we did around the world. And I'm telling you right now, we were received very well. Okay? So Trenton, tell me about the car, man. What's up?
So there's no feeling like showing up to where you thought you parked your car and it's not there anymore.
Right.
So I parked my car in a parking garage. I live in an apartment. I'm on the way here to the studio and my car's not there. And I'm like, what the hell? Now I'm thinking that my apartment complex towed it for whatever reason. Maybe they thought I was in the wrong spot. So I go to my housing office and I had ran into the maintenance guys and I tell them what happened. They're like, what? They're like, man, we actually had an issue like a few months ago of some cars getting stolen out of the parking garage. And I'm like, really? So they pull me over to the camera system and they're showing me, okay, there's my car. And they're asking me, did you go anywhere yesterday? I was like, nah, I was at the apartment the whole day. And then they're watching it 16, speed. And then all of a sudden my car goes. I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. They wind it back. You see me walking into my car about 5 p.m. yesterday, and I drive off. And they're like, okay, well, there's you. And they're like, all right. And then they say, dog, you never drove it back. And I was like, yo. So when I leave, I don't like smoking real weed. I don't, because I get a little too loopy. But I left my vape in Keela's car on Friday when we went down to Toppenish.
In my car.
In your car that Keela drives.
Got it.
I left it in there. He was like, hold on, that's my car.
I'm like, Keela got a car. Oh, my bad. Keela, no shade.
But yeah, so I leave my vape in there, and I got all that free weed from Kanisha for your Netflix taping. She had all this weed from a sponsor or whatever. So that's like my little stash that if I don't have a vape pen, I'll go smoke that. But I smoke in the car across the street.
So all that explanation to say you got so high, you left your car somewhere and didn't know.
I just left. I just opened my car, went back to my apartments, never drove it back into the parking complex.
So where was your car?
Still parked there.
Parked where?
Across the street from my apartment complex.
At the light rail.
Not at the light rail. It's just at another apartment complex that has like all these spaces that are reserved for people who
overflow.
Yes.
Okay.
But I was bugging out because I did not remember any of that. I like blocked space that
which
out
is
of my
cool.
mind. But
But here's the thing, people, and I need you guys to all lean in. Trenton's car is ugly as fuck. You need to. He's not up keeping it right. If you open the door, you're like, oh shit, like a moth might fly out. Like to be honest with you, for Trenton to be as clean as he is, to like do everything the way he does and to move as meticulous as he does, his car is the chink in his armor. I'll be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if he woke up at 6 o'clock every day, did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and then made his bed like a Marine. But this car, absolutely. Like there's literally like gravel on the floor on the passenger side. There's candy wrappers and shit. If somebody stole this car, they should have detailed it and dropped it back off. Also, the whole car looks like a balled up baby hand. Like this is not. What is this? A Nissan?
It's a 2020 Nissan Kicks.
A Nissan Kicks. Kicks.
Kicks.
Yeah. See, they didn't even name it right. They named one car a plural name. This car is. This is the ugliest Nissan in any fleet of Nissans in the last 20 years. And he thought somebody stole it. This shit looks like an awkward forehead sitting outside. When we all park all the cars outside, it's like one of these things is not like the other. Like I have made it a silent priority of my own to get Trenton to upgrade his vehicle. And he's like, I'm gonna pass it down to my daughter and I'm gonna this and I'm gonna that. I'm like, yeah, all that shit is cool. Fam, like we're coming up pretty quick here on like the last day you need to be in that ugly ass car. And you need something you're proud of so you'll keep it clean. Yeah. I know you like that it lasts a long time, but damn, you don't even like it enough to to not have loose papers and shit in it. I'm gonna make a story post. We're going outside. I'm just gonna film it in wherever status is at right now, and I promise you there will be at least 2 or 3 moments of God damn, why is that in here in this car? Okay. It don't stop me. Don't try to beat me out there. Don't try to organize it. I want it as is. I want people to see this is how you out here living.
Man.
But your car is in such bad shape that there could be a girl that loves you, and when she sees your car, she's going to be like, oh, no.
Nah, meet me there, girl. Meet me
Absolutely not. You want to go raw, nigga? You don't even protect your car. It's bad, people, to say the least. All right?
There's worse.
Now, let's move into this thing that I want to talk about, and this is we had a conversation while we were in Lake Tahoe at the Wolf Restaurant by the Wolf Restaurant at
it was like the
Harvey's Casino, Vanderpump, Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant. Dope restaurant, man. Very impressed with what she did. I like seeing when like people leverage their celebrity and open other types of businesses, and it looked like it was successful. Like they opened at 4, and the line was for reservations was like 75 people, and the line for walking up to the bar was another 50 people, and that was just to open. Wasn't a special event, wasn't anything, there was no convention or nothing in town. It was just great. And then the interior was designed gorgeously. The staff was presented very well. They had spinning chandeliers and giant mason wolves that were in like these cages halfway out. Like it was just a really dope, it felt like you were in like a castle in like the king's like living room, and maybe he had pet wolves. Like that's how it felt. Like they've done a great job with that. And it looks like there was no expense spared in designing this place, right? But we started talking in there about women. And do you remember the conversation?
Yeah, I think we were just discussing, like, I know I had brought up a lady I was talking to, and she was like confused about like why I didn't know she had liked. Wait, what were we talking about? Because
you basically said men know when we love a woman much faster than women know if they love a man.
Oh yeah, I seen a post on Instagram.
And what was it?
It said it was from the Wealth account where it said that men fall for women much faster. Men fall for women much faster than women do. So men know when we're in love much faster than women know when they're in love.
This is what I think. I think most men, most average men, most Western civilized men start off at love and then, honeymoon phasing and all that, and then it normalizes. And if you're still in a place of I still love this person, then boom. But with that logic, you can start out at heads over heels in love and then fall out of it. There's a guy who he puts in the contacts if he's dating a woman, he puts their name and then he puts like 5 of the same emoji, 5 check marks or something. And every time something goes wrong, he removes a check mark. So that when that contact has no check marks left, he's like, you ran out of your 5 strikes. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Whatever you did, I don't need to still be dating. You know what I'm saying? Also, then he's like, he gets to look at his contact and be like, damn, I'm really out here in love with this one check ass bitch, right? And also, he said he leaves room for like if something awesome happens, he'll add another one. Like it is possible to be a 6-star on a 5-star scale. I like that. I like us protecting our peace. I like us protecting who we are, and trust is earned, right? But it's also given, right? That's the thing with love. You're supposed to go and give 100% trust off top, and then it's their job to maintain that trust, right? Like as soon as they undermine your trust that you've given, you're like, get rid of that check. And even if it's not as something as symbolic as emojis on a contact, there's a mental note that you make where you're like, man, and a lot of times we're comparing it with ourselves, right? We're like, each time you do something that I would not do to you, that's when I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna let you treat me worse than I'll treat myself. So Amber Rose posed the question on Shannon Sharp's podcast, and she's like, how come men are loyal to their barbers, but they're not like, but you'll cheat on me, right? And I don't want to say it in a sense of like how Amber Rose loves or what she's doing or what she's done right or wrong. It would appear from me on the outside looking in that she's had quite a few relationships that are high profile. But what I will say is the relationship we have with our barbers, right? Like barbering is one of the rare capacities in which you go in one condition, and after that service, you can visibly see the physical upgrade to yourself on the spot, right? Like that establishes a loyalty to that person. And if there's 50 barbers and you got the one you like, it's because that one is upgrading you the most, the way you're looking at the lines, the edges, all the angles, and you're like, whoo, I'm the best version of myself right now, as Spice Adams would say. Now, how many times are you in a relationship where after an interaction with your girl, you feel like you've been upgraded in the same manner? Whether it was physical or emotional or whatever. Like, did she just drain you? Was she a succubus of your energy, of your time? And that's what women got to understand. Like, if your whole thing, and most men are physical touch, right? And which was funny because I was talking to my homegirl and I was like, we were talking about love languages. And I was like, my love language is physical touch. She goes, niggas just say that when they want their dick sucked. I was like, what? That's not what I mean. I mean, like, if I'm driving and you're next to me, put your hand on my forearm. Let me feel your presence. But if you're going to suck some dick, I can recline my seat and we will go however far I-5 North goes. You know what I'm saying? We're about to take a detour on the spot. Yes, I feel loved and appreciated when that's what's happening to me, of course. But women's, a lot of time, more times than not, is quality time. Right? They want quality time. Sometimes they say acts of kindness, but a lot of times it's quality time. So here's what I ask is for you as you reflect, like, all right, you want the quality time from somebody, which is the one thing we can't get back as humans. Every moment we breathe in, breathe out, or time passes, all of us are closer to death because we are not immortal, right? So you want my precious life essence, that I'm not multitasking, not doing anything else, not working on my business, no, my phone is down, it's just us. Okay, what are you doing to contribute to that time spent that is quality for both of us, other than just being like, we hung out Tuesday? Yeah, but did you grow as a couple? Did you have deep or even mid-level conversation? Did you upgrade the person during that time in some way, shape, or form? Even if it's just in fun, you could just be sitting there together playing Phase 10, laughing, but you know what I'm saying? Or were you like a source of like mental anguish? Does it look like he wants to be somewhere else? Are you more interesting than a couple maps of Call of Duty? Because if you can't pull that off, then he's already got his mind elsewhere. He's thinking about putting his headset on, getting his controller, and being like, where are we dropping, boys? You know what I'm saying? That's what I would say, because when we talk about our loyalty to barbers, that's what it is. Their prices generally be the same, and if they're trying to go up in price, it's for a reason, right? There's no reason out of nowhere that we just got this crazy-ass expense that I'm expected to pay. And in 2025, a lot of women think if I have a man, I got financial help now. It's not just a man, it's a grant. It's a Pell Grant, it's a scholarship. I got a man now. So the fact that monthly, regularly, I live beyond my means and I'm usually $300 to $500 short on what it costs me to maintain my home, my place, my car, my bills. I got a man that I can be like, babe, I'm almost there. Babe, I'm almost there. And he's going to keep sending you the money. That's a man that's literally in a relationship and has signed up for tricking. You're in my opinion, you're buying pussy 1 month at a time. Just go ahead and you're just it's a pussy retainer. You know what I'm saying? Then some of the women that do that got the audacity to be like, I got a headache, I'm sore, I don't feel like it. You're like, wow, you're not even gonna give up the butt either? That's crazy. So therein lies my thought process on it. I think men, we jump in head over heels and then something happens and we're like, God damn it, this is not worth how much I was willing to do. Like, I was literally willing to do sickness and health. I was halfway through my vows, and I just met this girl in the club. This is why men take rejection so hard. I used to have this bit about this, because we would look at a girl in the club and be all, just looking at her. You're like, damn, she is so beautiful. You see her interacting with her friends. She's outgoing. She's a personality. She has a bubbly personality. Like, people, like, she's pleasant and kind to people. Like, just in looking over there, You're seeing qualities that you want in your person. I want a beautiful woman that's nice, happy, has a decent mindset. She's not ugly. She's not making ugly faces. Her attitude ain't fucked up. You see a happy, wing spread butterfly over there. And in your mind, you're like, man, I could see myself with that person. Yeah, I'm gonna go over and get her phone number. But in anticipation of that, you're like, is she exemplifying what I want in my woman, or what I would expect from my woman to look like if she's out with her friends? Yes. Does she look like maybe she could be a good mom? I don't know, maybe. Maybe we could go on a trip or something. Let's go to Mexico and hang out and enjoy a beach or spend some time together. Like, all of that is in a rapid flash what's going through a man's head as he's walking across the dance floor to be like, excuse me, may I get your phone number, or can I get you a drink, and let's get to, and then when they get over there and you're like, ew, nigga, right? He's rejected. This is why men be like, you know what, bitch, fuck you then. And this is how you look in the news. You're like, a man has mushed a woman in the club, right? He's not mushing you because you curved him. Yeah, that's there too. He's mushing you because you just curved a trip to Mexico. You just curved being the mother of his kids. You just curved spending all that quality time. You just curved, like, you just changed his perceptive of you being this wonderful person that maybe wasn't even real, but that's what he saw across the club. That's why men react and be going all overboard. You know what I'm saying? Also, we know the content of our character, so when we holler at you with our best intentions and you talk to us as if we have ill intentions, it's like, bitch, I could be on the lousy tip. I could be on demon time hollering at you. Don't put me on that if I'm not. Here's what I encounter a lot as of late, and I don't even be hollering, and women will just come, let's say meet and greet or whatever, and they're like, I know you got a bunch of women. I know you got women all over, don't you? I know you do. I'm not a groupie. I know you got groupies. I'm like, well, how about you come with me for a couple cities and you see how dry this goddamn road is? See how short we are somewhere. You know what I'm saying? We did Yakima. We drove 3 hours to that bitch, did the show, and then drove 3 hours from that bitch. Same night. So even if somebody was hot and ready, I couldn't do it. It would have had to be as available as at Little Caesars hot and ready pizza. Like, it would have to just be laying there. And then even if that's the case, when am I supposed to do that? While Trenton and Keeler are in the car with bags packed, ready to go? Hey, man, y'all listen to some music. I'm about to knock this back right quick. Like, I would have to be completely insensitive, selfish, and all that to pull that off in the amount of time that we're in that city. It's unrealistic to think like, oh, there's groupies everywhere. I'm not in a tour bus where you can just hop in Ohio and ride across 3 cities in Atlanta and all that. Like, that's not even realistic. But the assumption for some reason, because I'm high profile, is like, oh, I know he got hella bitches. The other thing I get is women who do not look good, who are like, you single? Why? You know damn well I'm not finna shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Just be enamored from far. You know?
I will say, when you were talking about rejection, though, I prefer instant rejection, but it has to be respectful instant rejection. Like when you say like, please miss me with that. But if you respectfully
give me an example when you were respectfully rejected that you were like, damn, that was refreshing. I got one, but I want to hear yours.
Somebody that was just like, oh, hi, I appreciate it, but I'm seeing somebody. Bet. Love those. I don't like it when you play the game of you're interested. Like, I literally seen this girl. I was talking to a girl, her friend, give her number out to some dude. And then I was like, oh, okay, I see, that's working out. She's like, I'm never going to text him. I'm like, well, why would you give him your number? Nah, just the easy way out. I was like, all right. But I prefer, like I had told you at that dinner before we went to Europe, I knew, because I had been talking to this girl for 2 weeks. We were gone for almost a month. I come back. I reach out to her like, hey, if you're still interested, you want to grab a drink?
Oh, that's right. You did say that.
2 weeks go by. There's nothing. So I already told myself like, oh, okay, she's moved on. I had mentally, put it behind me. She reaches out 2 weeks and goes, oh, hey, sorry, I'm just really busy, but I actually ended up, meeting somebody and I'm really focusing on that. But I'm in my head, I'm like, bitch, why did you even text me that? You should have just, your silence was what I needed. But now I'm mad. Now I'm in my feelings because I read that text from you.
Women have a treasure chest of men that are options. The good men. While they're chasing Mr. 8-pack, that the rest of the women are on, they got a list of like the guy from work, that's the work husband. They got the guy from high school that's always, you know, and they go back home, he's always like, you know, I'm here. They got that list. So when your relationship don't work, they reactivate that entire roster of like men that want them, right? Like it's just a thing. They keep them off to the side. They may say I'm not entertaining all that. Like one of the most healthiest exercises a couple can do if they're serious about each other is literally sit next to each other and just go through their phone and cut everybody off. You're sitting there like, damn. You're watching that person like, hey man, I got somebody, I apologize, but I gotta go my way. That's just a man, you're like, I know that's right. You know what? I'm gonna cut my hoes off too. And I mean all of them. Look at me. All of them. Even in that exercise, you're like, you know, hey, I can't get my ace in the hole now.
I was about to say,
all of them.
the burner phone too.
Yeah, right. Throat goat 3002. Oh man, I got cut off everybody. Like that's a powerful exercise for two people to do that are serious. It's like, let's actually do exercises that increase our monogamy to each other. Now, the smoothest cutoff I ever received, it saved me the embarrassment of my ego. I'll just be honest. That when you're getting curved is an ego shock. You know what I mean? So my niece played basketball at Washington State University, and my whole family went up to go support her at her. They went to a lot of games. I was always busy, so I was able to make it to I think her senior game or whatever. But a whole family was present. We went to this pizza place in Bellingham, Washington, and we took up I don't know, say 12 seats of all. Everybody got the same nose as me, right? Like it's all family. We're there to support my niece. Our server is a bombshell, right? And looks very approachable. She's very happy, bubbly, nice. She's talking to my mom, right? She's taking orders. She's sweet. She's giving suggestions that come with stories. Like, man, one time I wasn't feeling well and I came in and I had our clam chowder. So now we're like, 12 chowders. Like everybody, she's just super sweet. And my brother-in-law was like, go get her number, nigga. And I was like, I know, huh? Because I've been looking. He was like, I know you are. So I get up, I go over there, and I'm like, listen, there's something about you that I really like. Something's drawing me to you, and I want to learn more about you. Like, can we get to know each other? Let me have your phone number. She was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm on the clock right now, but I'll write it down and slide it to you. And I was like, man, thank you so much. And a few minutes later, while she's bringing out food, she set all the food down, refilled a couple of waters, and then she handed me this little note in front of the whole family, and then she walks off. Whole family's like, ooh, okay, out here pulling them, go ahead, right? They're all showering me with compliments. I'm like, yeah, I know that's yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm pulling her, you know, y'all meet my new little baby mama, you know what I'm saying? All of that. I open it up, and it was like, unfortunately, while this is a wonderful interaction, I do not entertain men from my job. I hope that's okay. And then they said all this on this thing. You know, it's just like, I hope that's okay. I mean, no disrespect. You look like a sweet guy, but I don't like to intermingle with my job and my love life. You know what I'm saying? And I just folded the letter up, and my brother-in-law was like, yeah, she gave you her number, huh? And I was like, yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that for sure. I pat my pocket a couple of times. We get ready to leave, and I go back, I double back, right? And she kind of was looking like, can I help you? And I'm like, I just wanted to say that was the nicest curve I've ever received. Like, I don't know how you got to the point that you're writing a letter that keeps people's egos attacked, like to their group or whatever. I was like, but that was the smoothest I've ever seen. And she was like, yeah, I just figured, there's no point embarrassing you. I'm like, well, damn, thank you. And then I got in the car and we all went to the game or went wherever we were going. You know what I'm saying? But that was the smoothest curve I had seen. And
I like that.
Ladies, take a note from that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's rare that a man is by himself anyways, usually with a homie or some homies, or there's some people around from his world. When he goes over, he may walk up to you alone, but he's coming from a pack of people and they're all watching. How can you smoothly and tactfully disengage with that person? You don't have to be interested, but you also don't have to do it in a rude way. When they get back to the like, oh, Joe Hurley. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was super smooth. That was super duper smooth.
Well, because I get it though from a woman's perspective, especially if you bad. You probably get hit on Constantly, every day.
I have a new. I want you to finish your thought, but I just want to say, it is very real that a woman that is above a 9 can't go nowhere without a holler. Above a 9. Now, you might be a delusional 7 that think, yeah, that is how I get down. But I have literally seen, now that I've been traveling all over the place and all that stuff, I have seen pretty privilege on full display. 9s and 10s walking up and cutting the entire line. The line, okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, she bad the motherfucker, let her go. Right? Like, they don't even greet you the same. They're like, they're all flirty with it and shit. Like, just it's nutty to see. But I am sure they can't go to Costco. They can't go on a damn walk. They can't go. They're so pretty. There's some people who are just blessed with the facial structure that is somebody gonna holler. They're dangerous. Because as soon as y'all are on the brink of an argument or not making it, that person can go out and they ain't got no problem pulling a new person and be like, fuck all that. Right? Like it and I've dated more than one beautiful woman to be like, listen, this is gonna have to come with some grace because there's men who can't handle that. You just can't handle knowing your girl could go anywhere and replace you, whether it's a valid replacement or not, but she has options like that. Here's the thing, all women got options. But a 9 and above, and some of these bona fide 10s, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Like, you just got to fully trust. She is totally made up her mind. There's a comfort in dating a 3 or a 4.
I'm working on a joke about this
very
thing. It's my whole... Because I tell the audience, like, I don't even like talking to women I consider a 7 and above. You know what I'm saying? I like a solid 6. You know, they're loyal. Like, you can send a 6 off to a Chris Brown concert and you ain't got to worry, she coming home. But you send that 9 or a 10, she getting on that stage.
No, and I'm talking about we had nosebleed seats and somehow somebody is like, Mr. Brown would like to see you in the back.
He like, what?
Section 395.
That's funny.
She popped up on the camera on the Jumbotron, and he was like, hey, yo, go get her. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, so I tell...
They hit her in the forehead with a T-shirt cannon and was like, hey, yo, go get her. Like, there is a comfort to dating a girl that you're like, cool, I know she can go to the grocery store.
Be fine.
Right. You send your dime out, she's coming back with your groceries like, oh my God, they gave me 75% off. You're like, who the fuck rang you up and gave you the I own Safeway discount? Oh, this guy. Oh, I went to the dentist and it was free. Like, what?
Right.
I went to dinner and it was free. I went on a walk and it was free. I went on a walk and then got dropped off. Wait, so you walked that way? You didn't have to walk back? No, somebody picked me up and dropped me off. I'm like, where the fuck they think they were taking? Like, they're that fine.
And I'm having to tell my daughter, like, you need to be more aware. Like, men ain't being nice to you just the graces of their heart. Because she told me, this was like a month ago, she got a job at the little Munchies, the little frozen yogurt spots.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I wasn't even looking for a job. I walked in and the owner happened to be there and he hired me on the spot. And I'm just like,
the owner, like, I want eye candy working here so that more people come in and shop. You ever been to the Emerald City Smoothies?
Yeah.
It's
Great.
not a coincidence that all of the girls there are like a certain age group. They're all pretty. They're all wearing the same little legging type of Lululemon thing. Like, and I'm like, who hires here? And I asked one day, I said, who does the hiring here? And they're like, oh, I think they're like, Steve, he hires for here, all the locations. I'm like, is he ever here? They're like, he's actually in the back now. I'm like, okay. Dude comes out, tattered up blue denim jeans, like maybe like a Korean and white dude, spiky hair, like a little neck chain on. Like the guy who's trying to holler at all these girls is literally who walked out. And there's a bright yellow Lamborghini outside. I'm like, is that your Lambo outside? He was like, yeah, why, what's that? I'm like, God, man, like.
He's like pushing 50.
Literally. He was probably like.
But thinks he's like
40.
25.
Exactly. And so that's why all the women look exactly the same. And that's what I'm saying. Like I'm hiring at all times, right? Like I find it like interesting when you walk in a place and everybody working there looks the same. It's all a middle-aged white guy. It's like, who's the boss? And you know it's like the uncle-looking version of that same guy who walks out every time, right? Like it's rare you walk into a workplace and you see true diversity. You see white, black, Indian, like it's like, okay, they hired for the best of their positions, right? That's rare that you see that now. And don't even go into the ethnic restaurants. You go into ethnic restaurant, everybody looks like whatever that cuisine is because they hire from them. It's their cousin, uncle, brother, you know what I'm saying? DEI. Shit. Go to a Chinese restaurant. So they ain't even speaking English in the back.
So can you give like 9s and 10s like a little grace because of the fact that they're probably getting hit on a lot? Because I've thought of this, and this is why I don't really catcall or really holler, and it just depends. But like when that girl gave that dude the number, when she was like, no, she's not going to call him. I've had girls tell me that. I use that tactic too, but only because some men, like if you're in the club, like, yo, girl, let me get your number, and they won't leave you alone until they get that number. And I'm like, well, why not just give them like a throwaway number?
Give Mike Jones' number.
They're like, all right, cool. They call you right in front of you. Like, all right, I'm gonna call you right now just to make sure I got it. So, so I tend to give like baddies a little bit of grace, and they have to develop their own tactics because some men out here are super aggressive, and I give them a little grace. That's all.
I'm not saying I don't give grace, but that's a different vantage point. I'm talking about if this is your girl and she's a baddie, you need some grace because she got the ability to go do whatever. Now, there's a lot of women who I'll also say this. There's a lot of women who are delusional. When I'm talking about a 9 or a 10, I'm talking about a true 9 or 10. A woman knows when that girl walks in.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
You know.
A 10.
There's a lot of 6s and 7 out here that are like, I'm a 9 or a 10. And in fact, you're not.
No.
Right now, what I was talking about while we were in that restaurant is giving advice. And so I'll say this. I had a situation in college, and I'll leave the person nameless, but we'll say this, right? It sounds so made up when the story has a start like this, but this is fact. We were trying to get something done where we wanted to have an event at the school, we being the Omegas, right? And we had some people that were interested in becoming an Omegas. And so I like to see what, hey, if you become an Omega, you're going to have to throw events and stuff like that. Let me see your ability to go in there and get this done. I already know the person you're talking to. I already know in one phone call I can get it done. I want you to go in from scratch. I want to see if you can lock it in, right? And so they go in, they come out, and they're like unsuccessful. And so I'm like, well, how can we change what your approach was? Tell me what you went in there and said. Well, I went in and I was like, can I see your guys' calendar? I want to check out this space. And whatever it was not, well, it just was underwhelming in regards to like a pitch to like get an entertainment space booked. I'm like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go in there. I want you to say, I have an event with 500 people and it's going to be popping and it's going to be off the chain and we're going to be giving back to the school. Everybody can come in and all that. I'm like, how can we help you? How can we work with you to throw this event in a way where it makes the school look good too? Right? I said, go in there and say that. They go in there, they come back, it didn't work again. I'm like, what did you say? We want to make the school look good, and can I see the calendar? I'm like, you know what? It's hard to give that advice. That's one scenario, right? Where me having the experience I have of how I grew up, knowing how to go in and ask for a thing, and trying to tell a person who doesn't have that experience and expecting them to get the same success I have. They not only have to say it the way I said it, or say what I said, they got to say it the way I said it. They got to carry the confidence that I would have carried when I walked in. They got to look trustworthy because you got to understand, in these college towns, people are trying to book event space all the time. every fraternity, every sorority. They're looking at you like, are you going to tear our shit up? What organization are you from that we should trust to give you our keys and know that they're not going to pee, poop, and throw up all over it? Because trust me, if you rent to the wrong person, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to tear up your walls. They're going to be doing, it's like rent to an Airbnb person. You're like, so I'm just trusting that you're going to do right by my Airbnb. You're not going to smoke it out. You're not going to, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to feed the animals or whatever your rules are. You got to vet through that, right? So that's one example. Another example, you see a girl, your boy sees a girl, and he's like, man, you're like, just go up and talk to her. You're like, nah. But I can't give you the confidence you need to go over there and have the conversation with this girl, right? Man, you go over there and this is when we were younger and men were trying to figure out who man, you go over there and holler at her for me. You can see that. You get over there, what does the girl say? Why he ain't come over here himself? I'll give you my number. Like almost every time. They're going for the confidence, right? Also, I watched Tom Segura. They asked him, hey, what advice do you give to younger comics? He's like, I try to tell them the obvious, like just get your reps in, but I try not to steer them away or steer them towards certain opportunities because I know in my own career, I have done some stuff that I did not like. I thought was a terrible experience. And from that, I changed what I was doing, or I learned from that, and it helped mold me into who I am today. So when somebody's like, hey, what advice can you give a young comic? It's not to be like, hey, yo, don't do triple runs, right? And that's what I was trying to tell you. And I was like, yo, that's a part of trouble. I wanted you to understand my experience with it, take it with a grain of salt. And if you would still want to pursue that, still pursue that. That's why I tell you about APCA, NACA, all these colleges. I'm like, let me tell you my experience with it. I'm not saying don't do it, but shit, it may not be the right thing. So it's hard to give advice to another person if they're not going to carry themselves the way that it requires to carry themselves to go in there. You teach somebody how to throw a right hand punch, man, this is going to help you keep all the bullies off of you. So now that they went in there and punched the kid and somebody grabbed their right arm, they right back in the same position, right? You're like, why didn't you kick him too? Well, shit, you didn't teach me how to kick. You see what I'm saying? So it's hard to say, I try not to give advice in that. I say all those examples to say, and I hope I haven't lost my thought in full because I want this to make sense. But when it comes to addressing women or dealing with somebody that likes you, or even if you're curving somebody, it can't be the instruction somebody else gave. You got to be the actual essence. Like the essence of that person is what is giving them that success. That's why advice is so hard to give. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. So, I try not to in that sense. I don't want to tell somebody one thing and then they don't do it, and then that would have been something that like changed who they are in a good way.
Yeah. And the sense of giving advice in anything, things are constantly changing. Like comedy is different. So the advice you would give a comic 30 years from now would be different now because the landscape is a little different. I was trying to look for that post on wealth.
Now the full thought just hit me back. Here's why this is important, right? Somebody like my sister who does basically finer womanhood training, basically like, leveling up your joy. She literally has a national best-selling book called All the Joy You Can Stand. She does self-pampering instruction. She has a Juicy Woman Academy, how to get more out of life, how to live a juicier life, right? And so I'm not saying this is what she deals with because she has her own empire, her own universe that is circling and doing, and she's doing wonderful in that. And look her up, Debrina Jackson Kennedy. But I will say this. It is hard to tell or expect somebody to uplift themselves if there's delusions of grandeur. When I say a 9 or a 10, and if somebody asks me, like, what do you do when your girl is out at, like, how do you handle your girl going out to a concert? If I'm like, my girl? That may be a different experience entirely than you're having with a delusional 6 or a 7, right? Also, the delulu is supported sometimes by people just being like, I see you. stop doing that. Like, stop treating 6s like 10s. You know what I'm saying? And let's treat our 10s like 6s. Like, let's bring them down a notch and let's stop giving delusional up notches. How can I teach you or tell you a way to move and interact better, or ways, things that can help you get and receive the evasive love and affection that you desire if, one, you're delusional, or two, you're not living the same discourse as the next woman. If I am trying to give advice to 2 comics and one has innate, obvious, clear talent and the other one struggles consistently, it's not fair to give the advice of being like, all you gotta do is start TikTok and then something works. That first person is just throwing trash online consistently. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. There's a reason this popped for me. I was 20 years in the game, ready for it, that I put a camera on myself, and it's like I am just exposing people to what I've been doing all over the world. Not to make it about myself, but that also applies to if you're trying to uplift 2 young men. If one person is raised one way and one person is raised another, that advice can apply differently. That goes to women too. If one is ugly and one is stunning, then how can I possibly give you the same message and it have the same poignancy? One has never carried a box on their own in their life. The other one literally had to take their couch up 5 flights of stairs on their back.
Hilarious.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I'm talking about, how people are acting and love and you talking about your barber and bringing it back full circle, where Amber Rose is like, how come your barber gonna cheat, right? Like, I could tell you ways to keep a man happy, but I need to know what you look like, right? This is what everyone was enamored with Kevin Samuels. You could see who he was talking to, and he was telling you what you are, even if you heard your voice. How tall are you? 5'4". What you weigh? 240. Hike. That nigga was a savage. He's like, bitch, you are a fullback in the NFL. Stop trying to get a handsome, high-value man. How many kids you got? 4? Listen, what you mean you gonna make a man wait? He can see pussy trophies walking around your house. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So therein lies the real truth of it. Like, and that's what's hard about the dating scene, right? Like, you look at Tinder, ain't nobody looking at the fucking words to be like, this is a good person.
You just gave me an idea for a dating app, because that's part of this joke I'm currently like writing on stage. But it's like the idea of, if you know what you are, like, I feel like if you just knew you were a 6, right, then you should be able to live life accordingly, because you know, like, you're a 6. You know what I'm saying? Like, life should be better for you, because if you delusional and you think you a 9, life's gonna be hard for you because you're really not a 9. But if you knew you was a 6, you could move accordingly. So if there was like a dating app where it was like, hey, 6 is in here, 4 is in here.
So you're saying when you log in, you say what you are?
Yeah.
So 6s date 6s?
Not necessarily, because I'm currently like, I'm looking for a 6. So people watching this, don't
you
get
say what you
discouraged.
are and then you say what you're looking for.
Exactly.
The same way you say I'm straight, looking for straight.
Exactly. Because I don't want that 9. I don't want that 10. Because I don't want to be in the nosebleeds and Chris Brown's assistant is still coming up there to go pull you. I don't want that. I want that solid 6.
Is it off-putting to be looking through 6s and see a 10?
I would be like, why are you? What are
A small town 10.
See, now a small town 10.
There's women that are, here's a perfect example. Perfect example. I know a girl who is fire. Oh, turning heads. Her older sister's finer than her. She knows it and moves as such.
Dangerous.
She's a 10. Her older sister is not even scalable. You understand? Like, her whole life, anyone she's ever dated that is like, damn, you are so motherfucking gorgeous. She's like, yeah. Wait till my sister get here, bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? The energy gonna shift when she walks in. And it's a thing. And sometimes it's the older sister. You know, if you're not the prettiest girl in your family, you know which sibling got the juice. You know what I'm saying? You know which friend in your friend group. Guy walks up, hollering at 3 of y'all. You're like, okay. He pick and choose you. Bitch, hurry up. Amber's on the way. You know what I'm saying? When Amber get there, she come in minding her business, not knowing what happened, and now she turning heads.
But does Amber move like a 10?
Hell yeah, most 10s know they're a 10.
I hate that.
But a small town doesn't even necessarily, a small town will have a 6 thinking she's a 10. She's the baddest bitch in Pocatello.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get out there and travel some. I just saw a video. There was a young brother. He's on a porch and he's standing in front of like this country white dude, and he's on his knee. And then the country white dude is like, come here, come here, come here, right? And like is a wedding proposal. And his girl's coming around the corner and he's gonna be on his knee to surprise her. When I tell you this girl comes around the corner and she's not in shape, like I'm not gonna say what I thought she looked like, but one of the comments goes, this nigga just proposed to a minivan, okay? They are not physically equally yoked. I don't know what their dynamic is that he's like, I want to be with her forever or not, but she's not even dressed in a way where it's like, complimenting her shape, okay? Like they caught her slipping in like a pencil dress. It's like putting a marker in a pencil case, okay? And the comments are like, bro, you gotta travel. Or, bro, so you don't got no social media? Or like, they're just like, why is this basic scenario, bro? Thousands of comments are just like that, right? So you from Pocatello, you a 6, but you the baddest in your class, you're the baddest at your high school as a 6, and you're like, I'm a bad bitch. And you're acting like that. You get to Miami and you're like, oh my God. These are some of the most beautiful women on the earth that are just walking around here in bikini tops, right? This puts things into perspective a little bit for you. You can go back on the humble side of the game, right? I have a homegirl who moved to Houston, and before she left, was all kind of cocky, lacked humility and all that. Came back and was like, I'm all right. Mm-hmm. So if you're like you could literally be like, man, you are so beautiful. She's like, let's just be real. Like I get it. I'm attractive. I'm curvy, but nigga, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not all that. Like, let's just bring it on back down. That's a real conversation. And I'm low key like, no, for real. Like, come on now. I've been all over the world. I'm still telling you, come on now, you're pretty now. Am I? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the small town can have somebody thinking that they better than they are, right? Mm-hmm. A big town or other more beautiful options around all the time can have a dime thinking she's less. And that's what most men are like, please let me get a crazy bad bitch that acts like a 6.
Yes. Ugh. So what's more savage, or worse, I should say? A woman who's a 10 and knows she's a 10, or a dude who would be considered a 10 and knows he's a 10?
What's more savage?
Like just more on some savagery, or just worse, like can't stand. Because a homegirl of mine.
A man is worse because he's still paired with his ego, innate desire to conquer.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this girl told me this story. She's a comic friend of mine living in Colorado. She went to New York like a week or two ago with her homegirls. And she's like 34, but in her day, she's had plenty of athletes, slide in the DMs. She's told me all of them, some pretty big names on there. I ain't going to air them out. Mm-hmm. But she goes to New York, and she said her friend was eyeballing this dude who was probably a basketball player, but they're not into sports like that. They don't know, but just this tall black dude. Her friend was eyeballing this dude, but they're there because her friend was talking to this other dude who had a table. So she's being sneaky. She's like, hey, can you go over to that dude, give him my number, and just tell him I want to talk to him, but I can't because I'm here with this other dude. She's like, fine, whatever. So she's like, Trenton, I go up to him, tap him on his shoulder. Mind you, I'm not there for me. I'm just here to drop off the note to my friend. She said this dude turned around, and he knows he's the shit. Like, he got money, athlete, tall, black, good looking. She said he looked her up and down 3 times and was like, put his finger in her face and shaked it and was like, nah, bitch. Go, turn around, get from me. You are not fine enough for me, and was doing that to her. And she was like, dog, first of all, I'm not even here for me. Here's this fucking number from my friend type of shit. But she said she went back to the bar and was balling out because I felt like it was a combination of her being like in her almost, 35, and like she's no longer that like girl in her 20s anymore. But she's like, I've never been a dude to dismiss me like that, of just a tap on the shoulder. She was like, was just crazy. She's like, I've definitely had dudes, Google me and look at me like a piece of meat, but she's like, that's probably the most degrading thing she's ever went through.
Somebody can upgrade themselves and go from one number to another, right? You don't believe me? Go on Instagram and look at, these fitness profiles where the guys aren't nurturing, where they're like hardcore people, right? Like there's a whole thing on Instagram where they're like, if somebody's in like peak condition, who hurt you, bro? You know what I'm saying? What made you just date the gym? Where you're like,
It's
you know
always a
what?
girl.
I wasn't good enough for this girl. I'm about to get in. You said you
That's what I did. That's what I did. You know what's funny? I went to the gym and started comedy because of a girl.
Wow.
And I don't even.
But
I
you
could care less.
said you were like, I'm about to get swole again. Like you
Yeah.
must have been in great shape.
Yeah, because this is in 2015. This girl stopped. She was Bolivian and white. I thought she was beautiful. And she chose another dude, and I was like, nah, I can get her back, man. I was Snoop Dogg skinny, and I just hit the gym 6 days a week. I mean, I was tracking my whole journey, got super buff, and then I was like, it was my birthday, and I found this open mic. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get on stage. I'm gonna invite her and her friends. I'm gonna be looking good. I'm gonna be on stage. I'm gonna murder, and I'm gonna win her back. All those things happened. Murdered, got fit, but I didn't get her back. She could care less.
She curved you again?
Curved me again. I guess the dude she found, and he's this nerdy black dude, complete opposite of me. They got 2 kids now and all that, because I still follow her on social media. and her son, her firstborn son, was born on my birthday, bro. I was like, yo, the universe is cruel.
She named the baby Trenton.
But shout out to her, because if not for her, I wouldn't have gotten
Shut the fuck up. No shout out to the bitch.
And I wouldn't have started comedy.
Bitch, I hope you swallow. I hope you bite the side of your tongue, bitch. You should have picked my nigga Trenton. You judged Trenton off his car and not his character. No, fuck all that. We not shouting out the bitches after. Nigga, you took a double curve after an upgrade. You went from a 6 to an 8 yourself to make yourself better for her. And then she went and took a 5? Absolutely not. If she was gonna be with the cornball, she should just stay with you. Shit. Now fuck that. Fuck that. There's a reason every time you did a rep, you were like, Bolivia. Bolivia. Nah, fuck all that. We don't even want to know how many times you've nutted into a towel thinking of this bitch. Like we really be fully immersed in a woman. And she ain't even ours.
Nah, yeah, it's crazy.
A man can be heads, and it's not every time that happens, but your head's over heels. You've convinced yourself, this is my woman, right? Then she curves you like, I'm going to change. And this is what you tell yourself, I'm going to become the best version of myself. To go back as a better or best version of yourself and receive the same curve is great. Like, whatever you thought was the downsides when you wrote me down on paper, all that shit it's all positive now. All this could be yours for the very low price of just come on back to your boy. Recurve, crazy.
She's still thinking about it though. She's in my stories. I see her watching. She watching. But
yeah, if you want her now, she got 2 kids.
She got 2 kids. I'm okay. I've been around the world. I see what's out there.
There's a girl, there's 2 different women that I talked to that at some point in my life I was so infatuated with. I was so enamored by. That even though they have gone on and lived their lives and created full families and appear to be happy on social media, if they spun the block for me, I'll be playing catch with their kids. There's 2. And if I'm ever like in a place where I'm like, I'm gonna really like take a person very serious, like I dead all that in my mind. I cut all that off, and there is no, I make myself where I'm unapproachable by any woman on earth if I'm crazy about the one person that I'm with. Which is why a curve is wild. You're like, bitch, I closed off parts of my brain, my gray matter. You know what I'm saying?
I neglected my family.
I'm just saying. Like, this is what happens, right? Like, men can be so infatuated with a woman, so into what you look like and how you move, that it literally redefines what we think is beauty. Take that to the face. A man can love you so much that what you look like is his standard for beauty. Y'all don't work out, and now he's just out here chasing your type. Because you have established what beauty is to him. I would not be surprised if Trenton ended up with a Bolivian and white woman at all, or somebody that had some of her features. Because at some point he was absolutely nutty about her. There is an entire country called Bolivia, and every day a new baby's born. And every day a new girl turns the age that he says is dateable. Every day. So, doesn't shock me. And there's also other countries that look Bolivian. So I would not be surprised if that was something that ended up being a thing or it was a characteristic that he liked to this day. There's men that love Latinas. Why? Who was the first one? Who was the first Latina, right? How many women are like, I love black men? They're even from towns that don't got black men. But you go in their room and you look up at the ceiling above their bed, Michael B. Jordan's ass is on a poster above the bed getting ready for Creed, right? Like they've got this crush of who they want to love. How many women are with their childhood? That was a whole thing. Hashtag got him. Like I saw a girl that was like, my childhood crush was Johnny Depp. Here's my husband. And it's he literally looks like Captain Jack Sparrow. You know what I'm saying? Like we like what we like and there's a reason for that. And if we're realistic about why we like what we like and there being why does she like a nerd? Is there a comfort to that? The same reason that we don't want a 10? Is she like, I need a nerd because then I don't have to worry about cheating another woman wanting him? I've seen stunning women with men that make you go, what the fuck? And they're happy. Time and time and time and time again have I seen that. Haven't you? Mm-hmm. You could just go people watch and you'd be like, how the fuck? And then we rewrite it off. We go, oh, he's rich. Right? That's one way a man can go from being a 4 to a 10, be balling out of control. You're a 4, but on your yacht, you're a dime. You're a 4, but she ain't got no expenses. You're like, that ain't a 4 no more. So if we were to date, or excuse me, use a dating app, and that's such an interesting concept. Two interesting concepts. One, a blind dating app where ain't no pictures and you just got to go off of the words.
Interesting.
Blind dating Tinder, crazy. Okay? That's crazy. Two, you say the number you think you are and you say the number you desire. And you gotta be honest. You might be an overachieving 7 that wants to date a dime. You might be a dime that wants to date a 7 because you don't even want the pressures of having a 10 man running in and out of your house. You know if your man is a 10, you can't leave this nigga at home. you gotta go to work with your girl every day. She don't even trust your stupid ass. You're gorgeous. I've had friends or known of guys, and you know, I'll say names. I had a homeboy in college. Still, I'd say we're still homeboys. We haven't talked in a minute, but that's the type of friends I got. We good if I see him. Marte. My God, Marte could pull. I could literally go buy a whole outfit, have on all my best smell good shit, and I'll check myself in the mirror. That's the best version I got of me right now. Let's hit the club. This nigga in a dirty wife beater with his hat backwards, and all the bitches is coming up to him. I'm talking about the bartender bitches, the owner of the club's wife. Like, Marte was and the difference between Marte and Marte was like, nigga, I'm not going home alone. He didn't give a fuck. He smashed booger wolves. He smashed dime pieces. He ended up falling in love, having a family. He's a happy family. But I'm talking about back in this time, no belly, no dad bod shoulders, just the young, chiseled cornerback. My God, I'd never seen another guy. Like, it was dangerous to bring Marte around any group of girls, let alone yours was over there with them. Oh, are you kidding me? And I'm pretty sure people have that experience. Like, you know the guy in your town that fucks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You be honest. You was in high school or you was in college. If somebody came from another college, you're like, hey, yo, tell me the top 3 bad bitches on your yard. Tell me the top 3 dudes that pull the most on your yard. You even as a straight man, I'm straight. I ain't got no gay bones, no gay, nothing in me. I could tell you who women liked the most at my school. A couple of them were confusing. I'm like, I don't even know why he pulls. We had a dude named Marcus at Florida Memorial College. Tall, crazy dark, from Tallahassee, had a super thick accent. You could barely understand him. Marcus would pull. And he was not what you see established as in Western civilization supposed to be an attractive man. But Marcus would pull in an odd way. Like, we'd be like, there go Marcus. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you who was the baddest chicks in my high school, baddest chicks in my elementary school, baddest chicks in middle school. And it did change. I remember in elementary school, we had this girl, I'm gonna keep her name, I won't say it, but her boobs came in first. She was in 5th grade with woman boobs.
That's going from that 4 to 8 overnight.
Nigga, she hit first. And when I tell you that was her peak, 5th grade to 7th grade when them titties came in, and I'm talking her titties were bigger than our teacher. She had D boobs in 6th grade. Nigga, you talking about, we playing football, 4th quarter, down by 1 touchdown. We're in there drawing up routes, knowing that you're about to score, and you look up and see Michelle playing tetherball. You're like, ooh, you niggas got it. I am checking out of the game. Titty Michelle is playing tetherball. Do you know every hit when the ball goes around, the titties is going around her? Oh my God. Titties playing tetherball is crazy. We get to 8th grade, everybody else is now caught up. Everybody's hormones is kicking in. All the girls got boobs now. She's not the only girl with boobs. She's no longer the baddest bitch you know in your class or worth saying when somebody like, oh shit, here go Titty Michelle. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody got boobs. Even some of the men. So like, you name that. Here's the thing. I remember there was like an entire pecking order at my high school set up, like those are the pretty girls, blah, blah, blah. Sophomore year, we got some transfers. We got some students from other places, and that happened a lot because we grew up, it's a military area here. Joint Base Lewis McChord is, right there. So it's 15 minutes in any direction. The students of all of these soldiers or whatever, or the kids of these soldiers, they got to come. When their dad get PCS or their mom get PCS, they get uprooted. And that's how you get somebody from, Corpus Christi that is randomly has to go to this new high school here with that. You're like, there's a new girl with red hair and knows how to dress and is not trying to learn to put on eyelashes. She knows how to walk in heels. She's from a faster part of the country. Now she's in our little slow C, like, yeah. Right? Like it shakes up the whole pecking order of your little campus. Okay? So if you've ever had a scenario like that where you've seen a bad chick, let's say you work at your job in corporate America. You know who the bad chick is at work. Yeah, there she go. And here come this new hire. You can watch it hit like just a paradigm shifting bomb. That there's a brand new bad bitch at work. Now everybody hanging around that kiosk. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm out of Staples. Staples! Everybody got Staples. Everybody got Staples. Anybody seen Richard? He usually is walking around fucking with all of us. Where's Richard? Richard over there with his arms on the kiosk. So what was it like out there in Oklahoma City? You know what I'm saying? Like, you've seen it. You feel me? It's just that pretty privilege. A girl can go to a used car lot and she's getting cars that don't make no sense for her credit level. She's getting cars that don't make no sense for her down payment. Right? And let's use the opposite. An ugly person, right? It sucks, but you don't get the same discount. They don't even consider. They know damn well in their back pocket they can push a button to take 14% off that car. They're like, I ain't got no motivation to hit that shit. Right? Okay, so if aesthetically you're living a different entire lifestyle, how am I supposed to give you advice on dating? How am I supposed to give you advice on, you get what I'm saying? So that therein lies the rub of like trying to give uplift to somebody in that regard. Like you almost have to do, if you're doing that kind of training for like what my sister does, it's like, I don't know how she does it without cohorts. Like I would just break everybody into what they look like groups and then be like, all right, listen, you guys already know how to move and walk and talk. I ain't got to teach you that. Now the other girls are like, hello, what do we got to learn? Okay, who can wear heels? Raise your hand. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't want to make this whole thing like this surface level, what people look like ass conversation, but if we just be real about people physical appearance being the most outward thing that somebody sees, it is what it is. Now, I talked to a girl one time, and we were not talking like dating, just I had a conversation with this girl. Very interesting conversation, and it opened my eyes at this point to this concept. But she was like attractiveness and appearance is all temporary. We're all gonna look old and unattractive at one point. I'm like, I go, yeah, but for now, while you're a bad bitch for 50 years straight, you get to benefit from it. She's like, but that ain't the case. Like, she had somebody who, when she was young, everybody thought they were sisters. They thought they were twins. It was two girls, two different families, but they looked very similar, and both of them were absolutely gorgeous. It's crazy, but something happened at the family home of the other girl, and she became a burn victim. So she watched the difference in how people treated her when she was absolutely stunning to when she had a blemish on her face, and she was like, the contrast was crazy. It was the same person, same girl, same essence, but now she's being treated. She had a harder life because of it, right? She's like, here's what I would argue. I would argue that our bodies are just a shell. It's just the vehicle that you go through life in. She's like, so when I date, I'm trying to meet somebody on a spiritual level. Like, who are you inside? That if your soul leaves and it lands in another body and it continues on, like this whole divine thought of reincarnation and people falling in love over multiple timelines and lifetimes that's how she was moving. I was like, I don't know when you did ayahuasca, but your shit was hitting, right? But consider that. Consider the body just being a casing of who you are, right? Your other person who you love, their spirit, let's just make it a little orange light, right? It goes into this husk, and the whole husk wakes up, and then they move and they do a thing or whatever, right? That's why you see gorgeous legged women with somebody who was in an accident and don't got no legs. Outwardly, you're like, motherfucker, he ain't got no legs. But if you really consider, like he's literally perfect. That's what that person would tell you. Yeah, we have physical challenges, but that's just the body that they're in, right? So that opened my eyes in a way where I was like, you know what, you're right. And once you start seeing the world that way, because I'm looking through both. I'm like, that's a bad bitch, and also, like, your little spirit ain't shit inside, right? Or that's an ugly person, but that person has a heart of gold, right? It really highlights when somebody is an ugly person. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Give a fuck what you look like. You can be an ugly person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So here's what's refreshing. A beautiful person, that's a beautiful person. Somebody that knows I know what I look like, I know how people receive me, and I move accordingly. With respect to those around me, I know they're trying to give me stuff. I'll pay full price. I know they're trying to holler. I'm fine, thank you. They just want a fair shot. That is an epiphany of awokenness to know I have pretty privilege, but I'm not going to take advantage of it. I knew a girl that was so fine that men would approach her to holler. They would even try to buy her. Okay? They would try to buy her. She was trying to become a comic and lost her job and was like, I'm looking for work, or I'm hoping that I can get this career going. What I don't want to do is get into a place where I am. She didn't want to get to a place where she was like, taking money from men that she didn't like. But daily she was offered. In her Instagram inbox on DMs, niggas is like, man, what's 500 talking about? What's 1,000 talking about? Or somebody that's just trying to holler that has money that she's not interested in, but she could just say yes a couple times. That's free meals. That's maybe an outfit. Her nails are done. That's money that she didn't have to spend on herself, right? So to bring it even more full circle, when we're having the conversation about your beautiful daughter and we're trying to uplift to be like, listen, just because people see you away doesn't mean you have to take advantage of the fact that they see you away. It's like, let's say strength is your superpower and you play football, but you can't let people know you got a superpower. Like, you have to use a little bit of your power just for the average play. But if you ever Hulk smash a nigga,
his head gonna turn
you're
into
exposed, right? Okay, so check it out. The NFL randomly tests players for PEDs, right? Performance-enhancing drugs. I remember I saw a clip of DK Metcalf jump like a crazy vertical, like 42 inches in there, just in somebody's backyard fucking around. Like he jumped up and was like, boop. They tested this nigga within 48 hours, right? They wouldn't even be considering testing him like that if he didn't go show this heightened level of athletic ability, right? So if you have the ability to be crazy good at a thing, it could benefit you to move with discretion in regards to that. You know what I'm saying? And beautiful people understand that very early. There's some beautiful people that understand it and they use it for their own benefit, right? You're the girl with the titties first. You're the girl with the fat ass first. You're the girl that men just ogle after. Money gets hard, I'm gonna go dance. I'm gonna use this ass and make me some money. Fuck that, right? There's something to the girl that's like, I'm not gonna go dance. I'm not going to monetize my beauty. I'm going to just work hard and advance that way. You understand? If you're dating a stunning chick, there's subtle reminders that she has options. You know what I'm saying? You go to the bathroom, you come back, it's a man next to her trying to holler. You're like, God damn, I can't even be. Right?
That's that 5 heartbeats.
Or she just asks you for a little bit of help. But it's with the, like, please don't make me go get the money. You know what I'm saying? I could go get it, but if I'm trying to be good to you, I don't want to do you wrong. I don't want to, please don't make me go. Don't make me go get my money with my feminine wiles. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Just I think it's worth talking about, and I like the fact that I can use opinionated to sort through thoughts and all that kind of stuff, because great ideas come of it. Now we got a blind dating app. Now we got an app where everybody's saying what their number is, like we're thinking about. Now we got, I'm not gonna say this shit on stage. Trenton's already working on a joke that got numbers all in it. Maybe some of this can feed into what you're gonna say on stage.
Will.
But it's a great place to be able to just talk and look up and just create while we're here. And it's a good place to be in. So that's today's episode, man.
Oh, man, I wanted to ask you before you got off.
Episode. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Because I just wanted to know, and maybe people are interested, but is there like a show, something that you're streaming right now that's kind of like blowing your mind right now that maybe others should be watching?
Like to recommend?
Yeah, to recommend.
No, but I saw a show that everybody said Paradise with Sterling K. Brown. They're like, man, he deserves all the awards and all that. Like, okay. So go watch Paradise. But there isn't anything on TV right now that I'm absolutely like, oh my God, I'm crazy about, right? Like, there are creators that I would love to see what they come out with next. Like, I want to see what comes out of Shonda Rhimes next. I want to see what Issa Rae's going to do next. I want to see what, you know what I'm saying? Like, those people who take courageous leaps in creativity, I like to see what they got next, and I want to consume what they've made, because they've already earned my trust that I know my time is not wasted by watching their thing like, oh man, that was fucking dope. Like, they just make dope shit, right? What's the lady's name? Oh, I can't think of her name. I follow her on Instagram, and she's a showrunner, and she makes dope-ass shows, but here's the thing. Forever, every time I've seen posts on social media, she's like in showrunner mode, like messy bun up, glasses on, we're grinding, clipboard in hand. In the last like 5 months, she's decided to travel a little bit and has really like let her hair down. You can see it online. She's let her hair down. Absolutely. Like, she's one of the most beautiful women on the planet. And before I was like, oh, look at this genius nerd. Now I'm like, man, that's a beautiful person. And it'll come to me what the name is, I'm thinking, because it's not coming right now, but I'll think of it. and I'll put it in the comments when the episode drops. You guys, what I do like is that you guys can guess. Who am I talking about? Who's the showrunner that is fucking stunning, but was like moving super nerdy like a year ago? And I'm probably gonna work on the show with her. I don't want you to be mad at me that I said this. I love you. I love your work. Please work with me, please. So go watch Paradise. I was thinking today of like, was there any artist or anybody that I'm really tapped into and listening to? And I'm not. I think music right now is in like this valley of like, I don't have anybody where it's like I can crazy get behind that I'm rocking with. You know what I'm saying? And right now I think who's getting the most spins is Big X the Plug for me, but I don't have I don't have the artist and I'm like, bro, everything they touch. They got the Midas touch. Just listen to this album from front to. Do you remember when we used to listen to albums from the whole fucking thing on consistent repeat? Like I don't got that right now. I haven't had the person I'm crazy like with the whole project drives me insane. Right, like where it doesn't feel force fed, and I want to learn the words to the song, or even if I don't want to learn the words to the song, it's so catchy that I'm learning it on accident. Just in it playing, I'm like, damn, I know the words of this whole thing. I don't got that right now. R&B needs to come back in a major way. Apparently Jagged Edge has an album coming out. I'm excited.
It's already out.
Well, there you go. Jagged Edge got a new album. Have you heard it?
Yeah, I was trying to listen to it in Europe, but it ain't the same.
And why is that? Like, what happens that... I mean, I know what happens because like when you're on the come up and you're grinding all hard and everybody's on the same page... You're singing them notes harder, the harmonies hit better. Maybe the person that is your engineer just is linking you all better, and then some dynamic from that whole thing changes, and now you're like reeling.
Yeah, it came out February 14th. It's called All Original Parts. But I was listening to it when we were in Europe, and you know, like you said, they're much older. The motivation to even come together to put this album together is different. Just wasn't, you know.
Is there anything you're looking forward to that you see on the horizon where you're like, oh yeah, that could be dope?
Not really. What I'll say, I took McKenna, my daughter, to a concert on Sunday after we got back to this dude I've never even heard of. His name is Mike Sherm.
Is that where she was wearing your jacket as an umbrella?
Yeah, it was.
What was she wearing? She
was wearing one of the like a hood rat, club rat uniform.
Was that a bandana?
It was. It might as well have been. It was. I went to go pick her up because she's not allowed to drive her truck into Seattle, and she had friends that were meeting her at the spot. So I said, "Okay, I'll drive you to the venue." It was at the Soto Box, Seattle.
Okay, yeah.
And I see her get out of her truck. I'm like, McKenna, you've lived here your whole life. You know we're in March. You know the temperature, and it's raining.
It's raining and cold.
And that's what you want to wear? So anyway, I take her up there. I'm standing in line with her.
What was she wearing?
She was, I don't know what it's called, like a halter, like a, not a, something like a bustier. Something like a bustier.
It had a V cut on it. I feel like there was nothing on the back of it. I didn't see her back, but it looked like the type of thing where it might have just been like,
it wasn't a string. It wasn't a knot.
A bikini top looking back thing.
They had she had a back. Her upper back was exposed, but it was like, you know, around here. And, you know, even her uncle, you know, I'm texting her uncle who I respect, love him. He's got 3 of his own boys. He was like, yeah, Trenton. As soon as she was out the house, I was like, hey, you forgot the rest of your shirt that you're wearing. So I love that, you know, he's making those comments. But I'm like, all right, McKenna, you know. But anyway. This dude, this rapper she went to go see, I've never even heard of him, but he packed the place out.
Mike Shine.
Yeah, you heard of him?
Yeah.
Oh, have you heard of him? No. I never heard of this cat.
No, I've just heard of him.
Oh, yeah, I don't listen to him. Nothing like that.
What happened?
No, it was just this, like me, you know, as I'm this on the other side of 30 and, you know, my daughter, she's 17. It was just this kind of, this epiphany of like, well, damn, I'm that age now where this younger generation, there's all these artists and musicians that we don't even know, but they're selling rooms out, clubs out, venues out all around the country. And I thought that was cool because it was,
for sure.
You know, it's just this good feeling. It makes me even think of comedy. Like, man, people have this mindset of like, there's not enough. Like, you know, there's only so much room for if you're an artist or a comedian, and it just, again, it's like, nah, there's plenty of room. There's plenty of people out there. They're looking for new things. They want the new. They want the next. Like, there's plenty of room. So I thought that was cool because I was like, I never even heard of this dude, but yeah, he's got a line wrapped around, you know, this venue. He sold it out. I mean, I'm not the best fan of what he was rapping about, but especially knowing that my daughter is like all into him. But it was just a cool knowing that like there's a bunch of artists and comedians out there that I'm sitting here right now, I've never even heard of, but they're selling venues out all across the country. I just think that's dope.
So this is something I wanted to say. Larry Meyer, who helped me put together my special, who crewed up and all that, he sent me this text this morning or this afternoon, 12:05 today. It's 4:03 as we record. He says, this is a very interesting stat. Stand-up comedy tickets have topped $1 billion in 2024. Ticket sales for live comedy have exploded over the last decade. And I'll just say these numbers. 2012, 371 million. 2013, 277 million. 14, 345 million. 15, 458 million. 16, 475.9 million. 2017, 450 million. 2018, 541 million. 2019, 474 million. 2022, now, it's worth note that they skipped 2020, the year of COVID affecting everything. Mm-hmm. After 2020, after when the world opened back up, 662.8 million. Well over, this is twice as much revenue than 2012 across all comedy tickets. They excluded 2020 and 2021 due to pandemic-related pause in touring. Then we have 2023. There's no info for 2024 or 2025 yet. $909.6 million. We are in a comedy boom like there has never been before. So when people say there's no room for this or there's no room for that, like let's give another example. You ain't selling no tickets? What are you doing wrong or not enough of? How are you not selling tickets and $1 billion worth of tickets? So you ain't selling out a coffee shop next to you? Ain't nobody buying no tickets to see you on a night? You are not telling people that you have a show. We are in a comedy boom and you got talent and people ain't coming to see you. What are you doing wrong? That takes self-reflection. That takes no delulu. There's a lot of people out here right now that are like, I'm the man, or I'm the woman, or I got this shit on lock. And in reality, you put them out on stage. The proof's in the pudding. The pudding got curds in it, right? So, very interesting stat to see. I also saw a post by a couple of older white comics. I don't know if it matters that they're white. A couple older comics, and they're like, I don't know who said the post, but I think it was like Tom Papa and another person, but they're like, what do you think about the comedy boom? Are we in it? Is it over? And the person was like, I was talking about it this morning, and I think it's over because they saw like a lot of their peers who are usually bona fide ticket sellers having to work a little harder to sell some tickets. And they're like, yeah, I think maybe the boom may be over with, right? Mm-hmm. Now, here's what I think. I think there's some really talented new people out here that make it to where you need to stay fresh. This is still business. If you're not going to pivot even your material, how can you expect to be selling like that? Right? So, also, I had a call the other day from a comic that was like, hey, man, I'm just trying to figure out what camera to get, man. I'm about to start posting a whole bunch of crowd work stuff. I was like, do you do that regularly? Nah, but everybody doing it. So do you want to do what everybody does? I'm telling you right now, you're 3 years late. This wave is about to go ahead and ride itself out to the shore. Like, if anything, here's what I'd recommend since you're starting now. Get a good camera and write so much that you can afford to burn a joke up. Mm-hmm. And put out material when you have good material. It feels abrupt, but we hit the time and we got to run, man. That's today's episode, man. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this with a friend. Let people know hey, man, there's a dope podcast out there, man. Nate Jackson got a podcast. OpinioNATEd is going down. There's that. Also, make sure you turn on the alerts on your Spotify for when the new episode is posted, because all the episodes are also on Spotify being uploaded. And there you go. Peace.